There we go. Once again, I'll go back to do my intro here. We are here doing OspreyHub 101. This is the basic understanding of everything that you need to do clubs, organizations, fraternities and sororities, rostering, and everything else here at Stockton University. My name is Jeff Wakemen. I am the Director of Student Development, and Student Development is the office that brings you the OspreyHub. I already did my intro for the live people, so I'm going to jump right into it. So here are the reasons that most people are going to go to the OspreyHub. Most students are going to go because they want to find a club. They want to find an organization. They want to read about a fraternity or sorority. They want to look at an event. They also might want to fill out forms. We have a lot of forms on OspreyHub. They also get alerts through it. Memberships. Membership is really important. If they want to join a club or organization at Stockton, you have to click on the OspreyHub to join. There's also an event feed, which is really, really important for most students. There's news articles. There are these things called paths that we're going to talk about in a little bit. And paths are really cool, but you may or may not be involved in those depending on your level and what it is that you're doing here. And then there's also campus links. The campus links are really there for the student leaders. So yeah, we're going to keep going here. There we go. It's really important that you understand that the OspreyHub has different views, and the different views are for different people to do different things. Most people are going to see the Explore view. So once you're logged in, and if you look up at the top left, you can see a little picture of Lauren Wilson because she put this PowerPoint together. If you see your name there or your initials or your picture, depending on your settings, you're logged in. If you see a blue login button, you're not logged in. And it's really important to understand that people who are logged in see more than people who aren't logged in because there's lots of things here at Stockton that are only for Stockton people. So if you ever go to the OspreyHub and you see the login button, make sure you log in. The login is the absolutely normal login that you use for every Stockton piece of software. So you should be able to figure that out. If you are a general student, you will see the Explore view. If you are a student leader, you will also see the Manage view. If you are working in my office or some of those other things, you might see the Administrative view, but that's pretty rare. That's like us, we see that. So the Explore view is the default for all the users. And this allows students to search, join organizations, look at the events, read the news posts. So they can view the organization pages and access what you have put up on those pages, but they can't access the leadership functions. We're going to talk about that in 1 second. So if you're on the Manage page, which you do just by hovering over the little icon there and changing to Manage, that takes you to the Action Center. And the Action Center is like student leader land. I like calling it that. It's where all the organization leaders can manage the content, upload things to their pages, create events, create forms, approve forms, look at all the registrations, submissions, all of those things. So Explore is like the public face of the web page, and Manage is like the business part of the web page. So if you're just a regular student, you don't really have any business. If you're a student leader, then you have business. So the most important thing that you're probably going to do in the OspreyHub is manage your organization. You have to manage your organization to hold events or to get to the funding software. So we'll start there. The first thing you want to do is go to Manage, obviously, and then you're going to select your organization. If you have more than one organization, you'll see it right here in the My Membership section. So if you have, we can see here, Coalition for Women's Rights, College Democrats, Student Senate, Student Development. So those are the 4 organizations that this person belongs to and has management rights. So you would click on whichever one that you're going to be managing for. So the Action Center also has this down here where it says pending submissions. So this is basically where you would click to do your business. You would approve any kind of forms that are coming to you. If this pending submissions is kind of like a to-do list. If there's any business waiting for you, it'll be there. You can then go to each organization and manage the content. So that's how you would begin in the Action Center. So once you click on each organization, you'll come up to this page that has the square. Sorry, it's darked out here. When you see this square and it says active minds and the members and who the primary contact is, now you're with the tools of the organization. So over on this corner over here where it says active minds, you'll see three little lines. Let me see if I can hit the backspace here. Nope. We can go to it in a second. You'll see three little lines, and that pops out this side menu. So this side menu is where you'll do these are all the tools for the organization. If you click roster, you're not looking at the roster, you're messing with the roster. If you click about, you're not looking at your information, you're updating your information. If you look at the events, those are where the tools are to create and manage your events, and all the way down: news, gallery, documents, forms, elections, finance, etc. So if you look right up on the upper left side here, you can see the three little lines next to Forensic Science Club. That's where you would access that side menu. So this is the roster page. So if you clicked the button, you click the Action Center, you clicked your club, you got to the square, you clicked the three little lines, and then you clicked roster. This is the Manage Roster page. So right now, primary contact is what you see in the top left. It's Colleen Sweeney in this case for the Forensic Science Club. The primary contact is not only the person who receives all the information for the club, but it is the main holder of power inside the club and organization. So it says here, primary contact can only be updated by an administrator. That actually recently changed. Now anyone with roster authority can update the primary contact. So the primary contact is the very first person who has access to the club organization. If you create a club and you did the paperwork, you'll automatically be primary contact. If you update the annual rostering, you'll automatically become the primary contact. So the very important thing is, since you're the first member, you need to invite all the other people. So if you see in the top right, there is invite people. If you see down under manage roster, there's current, pending, and prospective. These are probably the four most important buttons in managing your roster. The first thing you want to do is you want to invite people. We invite by Stockton email address, so you don't have to collect Z numbers or, hot sexy mama DJ at gmail.com. That doesn't help. You definitely need their Stockton email address. Once you invite people, they'll show up in your pending list. The pending list is right down here next to current, pending, and prospective. So what it does when you invite people is it sends them an email and it says, Jeff has invited you to join the Forensic Science Club. And if they click accept, they end up in the current roster. If they never click accept, they stay in pending. Prospective is another area. All of the clubs and organizations, not the fraternities and sororities, have a please join button. So if a new student or a student you've never met goes to your webpage on OspreyHub and they like what you have and they decide they want to join, they can click please join. So what you should do is go to the prospective list. Let me see, we have a prospective list coming up here, I think in a minute. We go to the prospective list and accept membership for all the people that you have there. We're going to show each of the steps. First we're going to show you manage positions. So once you get all the people into your roster, you're going to want to mark who is president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, faculty, staff advisor, all of those things. and you probably want help managing the club or organization. So all of that is done through the Manage Position button. You can see it at the top next to Invite People. When you click that, a little box will show up, and it will show all of the different positions. You can see on the top right here, it says Treasurer. So we are managing the Treasurer position. The Treasurer is an officer. The little box is shown for show holders, and then set management access. 3 different levels: all access, no access, and limited access. So all you have to do is decide, do you want this position to have no access, all access, which makes them as important as the primary contact, or limited access? Limited access includes maybe you want your secretary to have access to the web page, but not to the financial position, not to the financial tools. The treasurer, you want to give them financial tools, but not the OspreyHub page. So you'll basically, when you click limited access, you'll get a whole laundry list of things that you can either allow that person to do or not allow that person to do. Interestingly, I say person. You're not actually giving access to the person, you're giving access to the position. So then the second thing you have to do is, you can see down the bottom, use the little pencil there. Pencil is a OspreyHub design language for how to update something. So you press the pencil next to the person's name, see Alexandra Long. You hit the pencil, and then you'll be able to select what position they hold. So if you click that, and then you say that Alexandra is the treasurer will get all access. So this is important because every year somebody says, well, how do they get access? I never gave them access. Well, the reason is that somebody last year set vice president to have all access, and you made them vice president. So it's important to remember that access follows position titles, not each person's name. All right, so the next button under the little hamburger menu, that's what those 3 little lines are called, is About. So About is the main public-facing page of your organization. So you can see the official name there is, on this page, happens to be the Stockton Entertainment Team. And then you'll see below that there is a description. That is a character-limited description. And then you see below that is the full description. So the description button, and there's also a profile picture over there. They all come in circles. So make sure you realize that you need like kind of either a square picture that will turn into a circle, or something that's small. So the About sections, the description is character eliminated. Think of it like a tweet. If they hover over your picture, they're going to see that. If they click on your picture and they go to your page, they'll see the full description. So you kind of have to be redundant. If it's if you see here, SET provides quality co-curricular entertainment and cultural programming about student interest, blah, 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 blah. That is the short description. But then in the full description, you don't see the first sentence of the description again, so make sure you put it in again. Notice in SETs, they have where the meeting takes place, at what time, they have their email, they have the Twitter, they have the Instagram, they have the contact information. You can get very detailed in the full description. All right, so the next button under the hamburger menu is the Events button. If you click the Events button on your page, you can see Manage Events. You'll see the list of all the current events that are going on. You can see that you can organize them by status, you can organize them by start date, you can look at the current events, all of the events, the past events. So all of your events are there. If you notice all of the event names, they are hyperlinks, because every single event has a unique URL inside of the OspreyHub. So it'll have a unique page that you can put on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever. So if you have no events, how do you create events? Well, there's a Create Event button. We're going to get to that in just a second. But the most important thing here, not the most important, another important thing here is the action center. You see that right there? If you see that there's like a little square with an arrow, that is to go to the event, go to the event details. The little page, it views the event, and the little trash can deletes the event. So be careful on those 3 buttons, very important. All right, let's go to create an event. Oh no, we're gonna go to create event later. The next button down is news articles. News articles are really important. They all appear at the bottom of the OspreyHub, and we're gonna look at this in a minute. And they appear in order of the organizations that have posted them. This is a very powerful tool because if you are doing a ticket sale, if you have something coming up, a big event, or you want to publicize something that you just did, you can create these news articles. And it's kind of like the running news of the campus. So whatever is the most current is at the top, which means if you post that your tickets are going on sale next week, people won't see your event until it gets close, but they can see that your ticket sales have begun. And it will appear at the top of the list until someone produces another event after yours. Not even I can bump your news story down. So very powerful tool. So anyway, so how do you do that? You go to manage news, you go to create article, and it will pop up this box here, and you can put in the title, a summary, put a body of the article. The body is fully HTML compliant, so you can put in links or highlights or anything like that. There's a picture place because each story has a picture. So continue to promote the wonderful things that your club is doing, especially important when you're selling tickets to something. After that is a gallery. Everybody wants a gallery, just like any other club or organization. If someone is coming to your page and you're not showing that you're a group of fun and exciting people, who's going to join? So make sure you do some galleries. Make sure you put up some pictures. Pretty easy to use a gallery. You can also do the visibility of the gallery, either public, only people at the institution, only people in the organization, or private. Very important because you might not want to show the world your pictures, but you might want to show Stockton your pictures. So just make sure that you're looking at that. There's a lot of security features inside the OspreyHub, so it's important to realize that you can share as much as you'd like or as little as you'd like through the OspreyHub. Past that is documents. Every single organization, because we've set it up this way and we made sure every organization was created this way, in their documents section should have the most current edition of your Constitution. You can check it. If it's not, you can always add it. You can add folders here. You can add meeting minutes is very important to just to upload all of those, because after you graduate and move on, future presidents might want to see what happened in the organization. So make sure you're putting up here a lot of documents. And again, the documents can be public, only viewable to people on campus, only people in the organization, or specific organization positions like, oh, this is the president's file and only the president can see it. And remember, that's going to follow the position title, so that means next year's president can see it and next year's president can see it. So very powerful tool, documents. Not a lot of clubs use it really robustly, but it's very good. Forms. So we have the ability inside OspreyHub for every single organization to create forms. I have seen really great forms like the photography club has a monthly photography contest, and how you apply for it is you upload pictures and you say what the picture is through the form. We use forms all the time. Every time you've answered a question in OspreyHub, you've used a form that we have created. The form tool is very robust. If you've ever used any architecture out there, like in the Google Forms or anything like that, you'll find it all very familiar. You create questions, you can do checkboxes, radio buttons, text fields. Anybody who's ever built a form online, you'll find it very easy. You can also people can upload files. You can limit it to just officers. You can limit it to just members. You can make public forms. So again, very powerful tool. Excuse me, let me sip my coffee here. Thank you. Elections. Every single organization has access to organizational elections. If you've ever voted in a student senate election or for any of the public elections, I know SET has used this tool for the artist survey and things like that. If you've ever clicked any of those, you've participated in an election, and every single organization has the power to run those elections. Again, just like the design is always the same. If there's a blue button that has a plus on it, that is how you create it. They're almost always in the top right of the box. So 3 little lines on the hamburger menu, elections, go to the elections page, hit create elections, and very similar to the tool for making forms, you're going to be creating an election. So a little bit different though, in each election, you need to create a ballot. You can have multiple ballots because sometimes only some people get to vote. You can create an elections list of that, inside your organization. Maybe you want every single member who is on the roster to vote on the color of the decorations for your upcoming event. But for president, you need to have attended 3 meetings. So you can create a ballot that is limited access only to those that you give access to. Maybe you're having an executive board vote. Maybe you're, so each ballot can have different questions on it and also different access. If you've ever participated in the Student Senate, you notice that I kind of break it up into pages because it just gets really, really long. Well, that's how we do it with ballots. So how do you create an election? Here's the name, here's the instructions, put the start date and the end date, make sure you click active, and then you create each ballot. Each ballot will have a question on it. You can make it required answer. You can make it an optional answer. Here is, we did we voted for the greatest pet in student development. We set this up for our students to be able to play with. Sadly, my guy Comet down here with the little blue guy under him, he did not win. Bowser Wilson with the big tongue, he ended up winning and became the most favorite pet in student development. Yeah, I don't know how the puppy didn't win, but whatever. But this is how it looks. You can add pictures. You can add candidate statements. Again, the design is very simple. If you click around, you'll be able to figure it out. We're really just trying to show you how the power of the elections tool, so that way you can figure it out. All right, so once you have everything set up, you've done your elections, you can go back and look at your organization. So when there's an election happening, you can see right on, this is the public facing page, you can see right here, it's election time, don't forget to vote. And there's a hot link right to the election. Only people who are eligible to vote in that election by your design will be able to see that box. So again, very powerful tool, the elections tool. We really hope, especially in times of some distance learning that's happening at Stockton, you use the online elections. It's going to be a lot harder to get people in the same room, and a lot of our rooms are not going to be big enough to hold the entire student population. So you'll need to use it this year, but it's good to use anyway because it keeps a great record and it's a great control, and it's just a great way to hold votes for your organization. All right, so what happens once you're done? Once you're done, you go back to the elections page. You can see there's properties, there's ballots, there's the results. If you see right down here, question 1 was pet involved nap time coordinator. Who's the best napping dog? Right now, it's a tie between Rex Cruz Pagana and Trixie Wakemen, my old dog there. The catering cleanup committee, who had the best tongue? Bowser is winning. Who's the security captain? It looks like Winnie Cooper is winning. So yeah, you can see the percent, the number of people who voted, but you won't be able to see who voted. It is a secret ballot. You can export these votes. You can see the blue button right there. So that way you can share with your members who voted, so they can know that you're not, being shady with the elections results. You can just literally share it right there. And right at the top there, you can see all of the votes. 18 people had voted in this so far. So yeah, very excellent way to hold any kind of elections. Service hours. Next button coming up is the service hours buttons. I'm not sure how many of you are going to be doing service hours. We have a very robust service organizations, and a lot of times they create service hours through this tool. You can see here that you have the chance to add service hours. You can then select which members do the service hour. Oops, sorry about that. You can then select which members completed the service hours, describe the activity that the service happened, and you can then also, people can add their own service hours, and anyone with service hours can either approve or deny how many of those hours were put in. Why do we have service hours? We're going to get to that in a few minutes, but there's a really powerful tool called the Osprey Advantage. Whew. But we're going to first do creating events, because I know you're all here to find out how to do events. So back to the event page, we know that there's a blue button in the top right with a little plus. That's how you create things. So standard kind of design, it's probably going to look really familiar. Event title, description, start date, start time. There's themes. Themes are very important because the themes are going to allow the predictive technology of the site to deliver your events to people who might be interested. So make sure you're selecting arts, athletics, fundraising, service, whatever it is. So anyway, yeah, put in your description, put in your event title, put in your date, put in your time, do all the quick event details that obviously you know what they are. Down here, there's also the perks button. Perks is very important. There's 3 different perks here, and it's free stuff, free food, and free credit. Free stuff obviously means you're going to be giving something away at that event. Free food means you're going to be giving away food at the event. Might not be very popular this year with all the pandemic and things. And the third thing is credit. Credit means that this event is going to appear on everybody's co-curricular transcript. So for educational events, especially if there's any kind of professional interaction, if you're bringing in a speaker or a faculty member is going to be doing a lecture during the event, we would like it to appear on everybody's co-curricular record. So if you have learning objectives and you're going to try and actually teach the people who show up, let's talk to your student development advisor about having it appear on the co-curricular record. All right, so once you get through all the different questions, there's an RSVP. So this means that people can select who is coming. Very important, especially this year when we might not have as many seats at every single event. So you can ask them questions like, very important, are you a vegetarian? Could all be part of the RSVP. You have a cover photo. If you notice, all of the cover photos are in landscape. So make sure you do landscape, not portrait, for your flyers. And then you get to this box. This box is really important to us. You have to check off whether this is an on-campus event, an off-campus event, whether it's going to be funded, whether it's a fundraiser, whether there are minors, whether this is sponsored by an office. It's a closed meeting or a fraternity or sorority. If you click close meeting, please, you don't have to click any other boxes, even if it is on campus or a fundraiser. And the reason that you're doing this is because we have extra questions on all of these. If it's on campus or off campus or a fundraiser, we have extra questions for you in student development. If it's just a meeting, we don't need to ask any of those questions. So just click that one. It'll get you through the event quicker. If you're in office, like career, we see you here. If you just click the office sponsored event, then we know that we don't have to check your work. We trust you. Let's keep moving forward here. So each one that you click is going to bring up a page full of questions. So yeah, you don't want to click extra stuff. So, but if you're on campus, have you already received your room reservation? Who's going to be in charge of the event? Are there any performers coming? Do you have a DJ? Do you have a band? You know, will you be using the ticket services? These are all the questions that student development needs to help you run your event. If it's a funded event, we need to know, are you using your club budget? Are you going to be doing a funding request? Are you going to be giving out prizes? So yeah, so each time you click a box on that first page, you're going to be delivered to another page full of questions. Notice down here, the fundraising page, we have this thing about please be aware that games of chance, raffles, bingos, all of those things require different paperwork because in the state of New Jersey, we have gaming laws. So please check our website, learn about the gaming laws. Just know that door prizes are great. You can give away door prizes to a free event as many times as you want. There's a little bit of paperwork about who gets those prizes. But if you're going to be doing a raffle or a drawing or a 50-50 or anything like that, the gaming paperwork is long and extensive. Thank you, State of New Jersey, for having casinos, but you're messing up our lives. All right, finance. If you're a financed club or organization at Stockton, you'll have a finance button. Whew, this is long, a lot of stuff we're covering here. So yeah, if you go to the finance page, again, blue button in the right corner means we get to create something. You get to create a purchase request or a funding request. You can also see all of the former things that you've been funded for. You can search using the search box for how much has been approved, the date it was approved. You can see the ones that are approved, the ones that aren't approved. You can click the little eyeball on the action to look at it, the little printer button to print it, or the little trash can to trash it. So, a lot of things you can do here. Just know that when you click, I should mention this, the difference between a purchase request and a funding request. A purchase request means you're buying something with your money. A funding request means I'm asking Student Senate for the money to pay for this. All right. Not everybody has those buttons, only if you're a funded organization. But once you're funded and you have a budget, you'll get the purchase button. Once you're fundable, you'll have the create a funding request button. So once you go there, this is the purchase button because you're already purchasing something. You should know all the information. So, okay, what is the request details? What is the subject? We are buying food for an event. Requested amount, that is how many dollars. The description, hors d'oeuvres for, our dance that's coming up. Account, you're gonna select the account button. There's 2 different kinds of accounts that most clubs have, and it's your funds raised money or the Student Senate money, your budget. You'll be able to select that. Categories are really important because at the end of the year, you want to see how much you spent on food or how much you spent on marketing or how much you spent on apparel. Most important, to us at least, is payee. We didn't design this button. We hate this button because nobody knows what the word payee means. But it's important that you understand that payee is the person who's getting the money. If you're paying for a DJ, the first name of the DJ, his or her address, his or her street, his or her first name and last name. If you're paying a company like Chartwell's, just put the word Chartwell's under first name or last name. All right. If you're buying on Amazon or ShopRite, just put the name of the store that you're purchasing from right there. That seems confusing. We know it's confusing, but the software built that button and we haven't been able to fix it because it's kind of hardwired into their setup. All right. After that, vendor name. What's the URL? Is there a website like Amazon.com? URL for the event page. If you've already created the event that the DJ is going to play at, please give us the URL there. This purchase will be completed by the credit card, the check, the internal transfer, if it's Chartwell's. Please upload your backup. There's a file right there. You can just upload the file. We do during officer training, a full training in the whole financial part. So I'm just going to keep clicking on here. If you need more information, please, you can attend that in a week or two. So, we're getting near the end here. We're getting to the fun stuff. So why do we collect all this? We collect all this because a lot of this information gets connected and collected by the university to appear for you. Every single person at Stockton has what's called an Osprey Advantage. But you can look here. Your connected to you might be your memberships, your experiences, your service hours, the submissions, the notifications, all the downloads, all the things that you've done inside OspreyHub are connected to you so that you can keep track of the things that you've done. All of your event histories, all the attendance at all the different events. You went to officer training, you went to Day of Leadership, you went to, bingo. All of them will be linked here. Every time you swipe your ID, we're kind of keeping track. Very important for the events that have learning objectives. All of your memberships will be listed there, your current memberships, your past memberships. You can add reflections to these, like if you've been the president of something, if you've done service hours, you could say, this was a great beach cleanup. I really learned a lot today. Check out the pictures I took. You can say what your role was. You can say here that this person for Asian Student Alliance said each month I planned a large-scale cultural event. We did a discussion group. I led weekly meetings for 20 different members. All of this is really important because it stacks up all of your experiences. You can add experiences that happen off campus. You can you can add awards. You can look at your awards. We'll upload all the awards that we know about. If you're on an athletic team, we'll upload that. Obviously, all of your service hours are all being collected here. They all get connected to you. You can add service hours if it happens outside a club or organization, because it all fills up your co-curricular record. We call it Osprey Advantage here. This is a great place for all the students to document your out-of-classroom experiences. You can show your leadership roles. You can help develop your cover letter, your resume, to prepare you for an interview. All of this, you're probably not going to staple this to the back of your resume. You might share it. You might upload it to your LinkedIn account. But it's a great description of what you've done here while you've been at Stockton. So you can also customize your Osprey Advantage. Maybe you want all your business stuff at top because you're a business major and you're going to be applying to businesses. Maybe you want to hide something. You don't want everybody to know that you were, you're not ready to share that you were in a certain club or organization. Because remember, I've set up a lot of privacy here. You don't want everybody to know that you were the president of the Democrat club or the political science organization or whatever, because you're not going into politics. You can show your reflections or your service hours or hide them depending on what it is that you're trying to show. And most importantly, you can add a bunch of stuff. You can add reflections, you can add your experiences, you can, PDF it, you can, like I said, post it on your social media or on your LinkedIn account. You can take it to career services when it's time to write that cover letter or write your resume to make sure you didn't forget anything. Review it right before you go to a job interview. These are all great things. Someday somebody's going to look over at a table during an interview and say, what did you do while you were at college? Or what makes you different from the 20 other people I'm interviewing for this job? And it would be great to say, well, during my college career, I helped manage, a $12,000 budget, and I helped produce 37 different programs, and I attended, service opportunities and have over 400 service hours during my career at Stockton. These are the things that are going to separate you. So just remember that Osprey Advantage shows existing experiences. You can always add experiences, membership, or service hours through the Add Experience button. Someone will have to approve it. We'll review it, we'll approve it. If you connect it to a club, the officers will review it and approve it. Let's see here. Where do you know what submissions are going on? Back in your page, you'll see your submissions. So if you did a form, like the flag raising form, or you applied for something, or you did a budget request, you can see those are all in progress. You could see when your forms are approved. You can see some that are denied. You can always use the little eyeball and look at it again, or print it, or if it's no longer, important, throw it in the trash. All your submissions are always there. So this has been a fast OspreyHub 101 from the very beginning to the very end. I'm going to stop my screen share here. I was trying to keep it under about 45 minutes, and it looks like I'm at about 49 minutes. So I did okay. I'm going to try and stop talking now. I'm going to take a drink and open anyone who has any questions. You can open the microphone. I can see there's some stuff in the chat. Let's see, good morning, hop off another meeting. All looks great. Some thank yous, but yeah, anybody who has a question, please feel free to open the mic and say hi. Who are you and what's your question?
So when you're trying to send emails to like all the members of your club, do you do it like through that, or is that like a separate like entity?
You can do that right on the roster page. Let's see here. I can show you real quick if I can go right back to share. By the way, good morning, Carissa. Good to see you.
Good morning.
At all, you've been like a frequent flyer here. Let me quick log on to my OspreyHub, and I'll show you how that tool works. Let's see, go back to screen share. I will share my OspreyHub screen. All right, hopefully you can all see that. I'll make it a little bigger here. Again, you go to Manage. Choose your organization. We'll do Student Senate here. Go to the roster page. Loading, loading, loading. And you can see here there's a messaging button. And this is actually a pretty powerful tool. If you see, it says Create Relay. What the Create Relay button does is it creates an email address that will be distributed to all of the members of your organization, or all of the officers, or all of the whatevers that you choose. And it will send them an email that says it is from OspreyHub. So this won't fill your inbox or their inbox with 10,000 emails. So it's actually a very, very powerful tool. The relays exist for 24 hours. And if you don't use it in 24 hours, you can just create a new one, or one message. So create the relay. It'll give you an email address. you put that in the to box and you push send. If you push send to, I've done it for like 1,000 people at the same time, it'll only appear once in your outbox, and all the junk mail like replies don't fill up your inbox. So it's a really good way. So make sure when you put the relay, say, please reply to, so they know how to reply to you. All right. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? I know it's a lot of information. While we're waiting for someone to think about a question, I'll just say the OspreyHub is really easy. There's a lot of things you can figure out just by looking around and just by clicking around. If you come to any issues, you can always email your StuDev advisor. All the design language is standard web design language. So blue boxes are action items. 3 little lines means there's a side menu. It is very mobile compliant. If you're looking at it on a phone, if you're looking at it on an iPad or a tablet, all of it is going to be available. One of the things that we didn't show a whole ton of is there's an app. It's called Corq, C-O-R-Q. And it shows a lot of the events and things, and people can search by free food or by free giveaways on the Corq app and see like what's happening on their college campus. It's a great app, but you can't use a whole lot of the tools. And since the web page is so compliant, we just tell people to, open their browser and go right to the page. The Corq app is also really cool though, because it does one thing that some of the that the website doesn't do, is because it's on your phone, it'll recognize where you are. So if you're visiting a friend at Rowan for the weekend and you open your Corq app, you can say, hey, I'm at Rowan, what's happening this weekend? Since you can't log in, it will only show you the public events, but it's also a great way to see what's happening on other people's campuses. Cool, we're approaching an hour and I don't want to keep everybody too long, but I'll once again invite anyone who's here who's got a question, go ahead and open your mic, say hi, tell us who you are, and ask away. By the sound of the crickets, I'll assume I did such a wonderful job that everybody has all the answers done. If there's no more questions, I'll hit stop on the recording and ask one more.